everybody. It's another episode of the Equity Accelerator. I'm your co-host, Chris Angel, here with your host, James Adair. Hello, James.
Hello, Chris.
Hello, sir. Dude, you are so dapper today. Look at you in your tie.
You know, I've just been wearing a necktie. My daughter asked me to wear one a couple months ago, and
Really?
I got so much positive reinforcement
Hey.
that I'm just doing it. I'm just rolling
Go
with
the
the tie.
flow, man. Don't fight it. Like, work it. I like it. Well, good. Here, let's talk about our subject, our subject matter today, which is super excited about this. We've titled this, It's Not About a Mortgage or Whatever You Sell.
That's right. That's right. That's something that my mentor, Trevor, and I have talked about many times in the past.
Yeah.
That people don't come to us to buy mortgages. And I was on an airplane yesterday for a really long time, and I was reading the new Seth Godin book, which is awesome.
Love that book.
This is Marketing, and it's in the first chapter or two because I'm only like a little bit into it. But they talk about a story that I've heard before about the reason why people buy quarter-inch drill bits isn't because they want a quarter-inch drill bit.
Yep.
It's because they need a quarter-inch hole in the wall or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
They're buying the quarter-inch hole, but if you really think about it, most of those people are actually buying, they're, drilling the hole to put a shelf up to get organized. And they're really buying the drill bit for the feeling of being organized or the feeling of accomplishing a task in their home. Right.
Right.
So that's what sells the drill bit, not the drill bit in and of itself, but what you can do through the product. So I kind of put my book down for a minute and thought about mortgages and how, I've been doing this 15 years at this point, and no one particularly wants a mortgage. They're not excited about the mortgage itself, but it's through the mortgage that they're able to access real estate, that they're able to get a home for their family, that they're able to build equity, accelerate that equity if they do it right.
Come on.
And it's all the feelings that come along with homeownership. And I've taken that idea and I've put it into my buyer's presentation.
Yeah.
And we're recording this in the afternoon. I've probably had 5 buyer presentations already today. Wow. And I've had a great reaction to it where I tell people, it's one of the first things I talk about is say, look, I'm not really in the mortgage business. I'm in the real estate business, and I'm here to help you buy a house, and I'm here to help you do it right. And through our strategic advice, I'm going to hopefully be a part of your life year after year after year and help you manage this homeownership over time to where you get the most out of it. Yeah. So it's not just about the mortgage. It's about, it's about everything but the mortgage practically.
I was just having this conversation today with a mortgage guy in Spokane, actually, in a networking group. And we were talking about it's Seth Godin's, another Seth Godin quote is, a tribe is a group of people connected to one another, connected to a leader, and connected to an idea. And a mortgage is not an idea that people gather around, right? But the idea of family, the idea of wealth, equity acceleration, these are ideas that we as a tribe can gather around. And so similar to your point, it's not about the whole, it's about the idea, or it's about the thing that I connect to. And a mortgage is just a vehicle. It's a means to that idea.
Right. It's what you get through the mortgage that people are buying, right? They're buying this outcome, not the product.
Yep. Which I think is so important because let's just talk to realtors for a minute, because I know some realtors are going to listen to the show.
Sure.
It's not when you're this is all coming from, this is marketing. What is marketing? Marketing is not saying, look at what I listed, look at what I sold.
Right.
Now you might use that. I mean, fine. I'm not making fun of that. I'm just saying, if that's all your message is, then you're going to be put in a position as a commodity where somebody's going to say, well, you sold that one. Look at this other agent sold this one. You have to rise above the historic means that real estate has used for marketing. I think you could probably say the same thing for financial planners. We have to get beyond the thing we sell, the drill bit.
Right. Exactly. We have to think exactly, what do you get through that product? What do you get through that service? And then speak about the feelings associated with the level 2, 3, and 4 beyond the product.
Right.
And then and in the Godin book, he's like, once you're talking about those feelings, then you're onto something. Then you're really marketing.
Yeah, I think that's interesting in a marketing context, because whenever I used to put my marketing hat on, I got super logical, I got super strategic. I
Right.
wasn't emoting. I wasn't very emotional about things. And I think there's an emotional piece to, or some self-awareness to, how do you market appropriately so that you're connecting with people emotionally? I think.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, you and I are probably similar in that our social media feeds are just like chock-a-block full of real estate agents and
Yeah.
just listed, just sold, and
Yeah. Yeah.
all the same old stuff. And I wonder what normal people, I mean, aren't following 100 agents or whatever. So it's probably more exciting to see,
Yeah.
why rent when you could own, image show up in your feed. And I just, like, that's the one that, I mean, is potentially the most emotional. The first-time home buyer buying your first home. What does that mean?
Right.
But I see on LinkedIn and Facebook or whatever, like rent versus own, and it just seems so flat to me.
Feels overdone to me. Like,
well, that is true, but I think it's unique to us because we are in such a real estate community that we see it over and over again. I think most people don't see it nearly as frequently as we do, but even so, I still feel like there's got to be a better way. I don't have an answer. I don't have a solution for that, but
I have a thought. I think it's not an answer, but it is a thought. I think if you could take what rent to own used to be aspirational, like,
right,
I could own something. So if we took the principle of it, which is it has to be aspirational, then you could expand on rent to own. So it's not just rent to own, which is flat, but start to cast some more aspirational vision for what it could be. Instead of renting, what could it be?
It's like a lifestyle, like home ownership lifestyle, right?
Yeah. You've got to get, yes, I think that's right. Especially for real estate people, I think a lifestyle brand is really important right now.
Yeah.
Because it transcends the noise of look what I listed, look what I sold. Right.
I got a big laugh. I was with my family this week for the holidays, and we were all piled into a car in Charlotte, North Carolina, as a matter of fact. And my brother had his phone out and I had my phone out, and we were trying to find our way to this restaurant, and he was using his iPhone, Apple Maps, and I had my Android phone, Google Maps, and my map was like far superior. And he was like really shocked at how much better Google Maps was. And I was just like, man, I'm all about that Google Maps lifestyle. And it was, and so, that's something like that, where it's not just the thing. It's like, hey, this comes with this whole other atmosphere around it. Right.
Right. Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Try to speak to that. The home ownership, when you get on that home ownership wavelength, right? Instead of renting and paying your landlord's mortgage, right? That's the villain. Like, your landlord is taking your money and using it to further his own real estate dreams and goals. And what are you doing?
Right.
So there's a lot more more dimensions you can get into that with.
I think it goes even beyond that. I think you can get to, like, this is the stuff I taught for years just on tribe building, where it's like you can get into relationship with people even outside the conversation of real estate, right? Like, if you love wine, or you love family and parenting, or you love CrossFit, like, you can find an inroad to relationship. But because our house is, I'm speaking of realtors now, but our house is the home base of all of the things we go out into the world to create and to do that are self-expressions for us. And then we come back to our home where we recoup and we relax and we refresh. But your marketing doesn't have to be always about a home in order to create the connection, the feeling.
Oh man, I have this old friend of mine who just got into the real estate business, and he's been in sales forever. And so he's not like just a young, and he's invested himself. He's bought 3 or 4 properties over the years. Real sharp guy, and he's really into rock climbing. And we got lunch, and he's kind of just getting started in his career just a few months ago. But he's already introduced me to 3 or 4 people, and all of them. And now whenever he introduces me to someone, I'm like, oh, are you a rock climber? And they're like, yeah, we're rock climbing partners. Right. So and now he's doing all the business for his rock climbing friends.
And so to go back to the beginning of our conversation in Seth's book, this is marketing, like what you just described. This is marketing. When you're making a connection with people around something that you enjoy, that we enjoy, doesn't even have to be about what you sell, but isn't it funny that somehow that comes back to the thing you sell?
Right. Exactly. I mean, and this guy that I spoke with, and in fact, one of the people I talked to today, that I think I actually talked to him about the drill bit conversation. And, but in talking about this real estate partner, I said, "Oh, are you a rock climber?" He's like, "Yeah, we're climbing partners." I'm like, "Oh, so, your life's in his hands sometimes, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, it is."
Wow.
So that's a powerful connection.
I just had this weird connection in my head as you said that, like, maybe the drill bit that we're selling it's not even the thing we sell like real estate, or the mortgage or the tool, right? It's the connection. But like what we're selling is the connection, or what people are looking for. What people are looking for is the right person, like who's the right person to help me with a mortgage, or who's the right person to help me with a financial plan or to buy a house. And that's ultimately what we're looking for.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to go with that. I think I think, but I don't think people realize that that's what they're looking for. They do that unconsciously or subconsciously.
I agree with that. But I think it explains why is it that somebody who is new into real estate can bring you a couple leads that are buyers and for real estate. And the thing that we have in common is that we all rock climb. It's because there's this tribal. No, you don't. But the people, but his tribe, right, are rock climbers. And they're not like, well, I'm going to use you because you're a rock climber and I'm a rock climber. And I have this like pact with rock climbers that I only use vendors who are in rock climbing. It's not like that. It's way more subconscious, like you're saying, but it's that I see the world like you see the world.
Right. We clearly have the same value system. Right.
Yeah.
And so beyond that, like the real estate conversation will be embedded in that same value system.
Exactly. And this is marketing. I feel like this is marketing, making these kinds of connections.
I think, I mean, it's amazing when you feel that client come to you and get on board with you. You don't know when that decision's made. I'm not technical enough of a sales professional to know that, but sometimes I do see, sometimes I'm like, yeah, they're just going to work with us. They're going to work with me. Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And some people in this business, I mean, it's never easy, but some people are better at signing up clients than others. And I think they're the ones that aren't, that are not thinking about themselves. They're thinking beyond themselves and into the client and helping the client walk into.
Right.
I guess another thing that Seth Godin said in that book is that we're selling a better version of themselves back to the client.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. Aspirational. That's what I hear.
Right. So it's like, okay, through this process that we've designed for you, you're going to come out the other end, this homeowner version of yourself. You already have all the tools, and it has nothing to do with me. Right. Like it's just through us,
dude. Oh my God,
that you're going to become this new, better version of yourself.
I feel like if I were, I mean, we're totally on the spot here. But can I put my coaching hat on for a sec?
Please.
I mean, it's like when, no, it's not really a coaching hat. It's just a collaboration hat. But I feel like what's so cool about what you're doing with the Equity Accelerator, and active equity management, like what you're doing as a service that transcends the mortgage itself, is in the pursuit of active equity management and growing our wealth and our resources as a human. There's all sorts of rabbit trails for you to go down with people in terms of channeling your inner Tony Robbins and calling people to rise and be their bigger selves in the face of all their excuses for why they're not managing their debt, or why they're not managing their portfolio, or how they're living life on autopilot, right? And those are some of the really rich and juicy conversations that you're going to get to have with people beyond the tool of a mortgage.
I agree. I mean, it's so, there's a lot of resistance to financial planning and talking to a financial advisor. Everyone has an uncle that tells you, oh, you can't work with such and such.
Yeah. Right.
You got to do a no fee, or you got to do don't buy life insurance. Everyone has, people are just frozen with indecision. I talk to financial advisors, and they,
it's good.
I don't feel like they are dealing with a competitive landscape the same way a realtor or a lender is, but they're dealing with a totally different, just psychological beast, where it's like they're up against fear and apathy of their clients, because they meet with a client and the client will probably sit down and say, yeah, I need to do all these things. You're right. You know, and then they shake hands, they high five, they leave. And that financial advisor is probably like, man, that's going to be awesome. We're going to sign that person up. And then a month goes by and they don't hear from them. They call them, oh, hey, did you fill out the form? And you're supposed to send it to me, right? We're supposed to get started. Right. Oh yeah, I meant to do that. Oh yeah, I'm going to do that. Right. And man, I swear to God, a year is going to go by before that actually happens. And you have to just like, you can't want it more than they do, but you have to inspire them to go through the portal, right? And take that action.
That's why I love, like, with active equity management. That's what we're calling it, right? Active equity management.
Active equity management for real estate. Yeah.
I feel like having that not only as a container for the conversation, because now with that as a container, there's recurring conversations over time. In fact,
everything's always changing. I always try to tell people, like, a mortgage is based on a snapshot. The value of your house is a fixed moment in time.
Right.
And it's going to develop over time. We're going to, I'm going to call you in a year. The value of your house is going to be different. The cost of money is going to be different. Your amount of debts, other debts is going to be different.
Dude, but what's so great in that is if you called me as the mortgage guy who channeled inner Tony Robbins and like really dug into my world as a homeowner about, like, what are your goals? No, really, like, and what are your excuses? What excuses have you given yourself in the last year? And how much longer are you willing to put up with that? And how is that working for you? You Dr. Phil me a little bit, right? Like,
man, Dr. Phil and Tony Robbins at the same time.
All at the same time. But I feel like if you're that guy for me, I'm like, I want to answer your call. When you call me, I want to have that conversation, because every time I'm done talking to you, you champion something bigger in me. And I feel like I could take on the world, you know?
Man, I think all my clients feel that way.
Oh my God. Like, what if all of you listening to this, like, what if we were those people? Like, when we called our people, like, that's how they listen to us. Like, you always make me a better person. It's amazing.
That's my new tagline.
Well, I think we're hitting this one all sorts of good ways in terms of, like, this is marketing. And I feel like I love what you're doing with your marketing and how you're positioning yourself to really help people and champion people and their goals in life and their finances with your active equity management.
Well, yeah, I'm excited about it. And you know, that's what we're going to get to this in, I think, another episode, but I mean, you have to reinvent your business every so often. And you know, otherwise it gets stale, you know? Yeah. And so if I'm excited about it, it's contagious. I get up in the morning, I'm excited to make calls. I'm excited to talk to real estate agents and share with them what we're doing here. That's just how, that's why and how a job like this is fun for me. Right.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of that, if there are agents, financial planners, other business people that really can partner with you as a mortgage guy, what's a great way for them to reach out to you? Connect with you.
They should reach out to me via internet, social media. It's pdxhomeloan.com has got everything there. It's got my phone number. My email is just james@pdxhomeloan.com.
Perfect.
James Adair. I'm in Portland. I'm licensed in Oregon. I'm licensed in Washington. Yeah. Would love to partner with the right people who are on this same wavelength. That's how you get a hold of me.
I think, and you can actually walk them through some of your active equity management stuff. Like, you have a system. You've actually created a system where you can work.
I do. I have. There's 5 or 6 facets of it now, and I keep kind of experimenting with it. But right now, it's different for first-time home buyers versus, you know, existing home owners.
Right.
Because there's a buy versus rent. And then if you already own a house, then it's more just like a snapshot of how much you owe, the trajectory of your pay down. You know, are you paying extra to your mortgage? What is that doing for you? What else could you be doing with that money? And really just helping people understand that the way they pay down their mortgage really influences their ability to save money, influences their ability to do just about anything else. We touched on it a little bit earlier. When, you know, with the Dr. Phil conversation about
Yeah.
You know, one of the questions I like to ask people early in our conversation when they're buying a house is, you know, what other goals do you have in the next 3 years? Like not real estate related.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And sometimes people are just like, why do you want to know? Right.
Right.
And I'm like, well, because the way we finance this house is going to influence your ability to accomplish all those other things. I mean, if you wanted to start your own business,
Mm-hmm.
that might change the way we approach buying this house. Maybe instead of putting 20% down, we just put 5% down and put some cash away because you're starting a business in 18 months. I don't know.
Right.
Like, so like I need to have as big of a vision for your life as possible to really help you use the mortgage process in the best possible way.
Well, and I like that in addition to those conversations, you also have the tools to support those conversations that your partners can use. You guys can go back a couple episodes, I believe, for episode 1 or 2, you showed your book that I think it's what agents can actually use this book and give to their people, right?
Yeah.
Right.
That's the home buyer's playbook. That's right. So I've got all kinds of,
there's tools that you have that make it easy for you, the financial planner or real estate agent, to have conversations with your clients that James can provide. Anyway, I guess my point is if those are interesting to you, you should reach out to James. You guys can go to pdxhomeloan.com and connect with James there. James, great episode, man. I love it. This is fun. We got kind of all aspirational today. I liked it.
That's why you're the best co-host, Chris. Thank you.
Thank you, James. Thank you. All right. Well, listen, I'm going to catch you in the next episode. I think we foreshadowed that a little bit with how to reinvent yourself. I think this is the day and age where you really need to start looking at reinventing yourself. So you guys make sure to tune into the next episode. James, until then, thanks for your time, and we'll see you.
High five.
High five.